These are my picks and predictions for UFC. Vegas, Emmet versus Murphy. And I'm gonna keep it a bug. Offer it. This card fucking sucks. The card itself actually isn't that bad, but I think this is one of the most obvious examples of the UFC having to oblige their fucking however many, fight nights there has to be on ESPN, contract obligations, like the amount of fighters I had to fucking look up. I'm like a super fan, I would consider myself, of MMA, in the UFC especially. I watch every card, every weekend. Like, I can count on my hand how many fucking cards I've missed on one hand. And, I had to look up, fucking 6 of these guys. Because they've either just come off the Contender Series, or had, one fight in the UFC. And, yeah, it's just, so fucking obvious that the UFC is oh shit, I guess we need a card this weekend. Main event's good, but then the rest of the card are, it's just the most random fights ever. Usually cards at least have, a theme, or, a, location that a lot of fighters are from. This is just, the most bumblefuck random. Alright, I guess these guys want to fight. Sure, fucking throw them on this card. And, not to mention, this fight got cooked with cancellations. It's fucking hair in my mouth, bro. What the fuck? There's been worse. There's been a lot worse. But 2 of the best fights of the fucking card got scrapped. Kennedy and Suchuku is out, which sucks, because I was really excited to see him in there. And I think Badai is actually not that bad, so I was hyped for that fight. He's out fucking 3 days before the card. And then just 30 minutes ago, Davey Grant and Daniel Santos, which was probably my second favorite, maybe even low-key favorite fight of the card, got scrapped. So it's the one fight that was pretty much a guaranteed scrapper. Boom, scrapped. A fucking day, man. How many times are people gonna pull out a day or the day of the fucking fight in the UFC, bro? They really need to fix the weight cut shit, man. It's not healthy, bro. These guys should not be losing this much fucking weight and then fighting. I feel like that's the main cause of all these pullouts. He had a medical issue, apparently. But I think this is the millionth time this guy's pulled out from a fight. Hold on, let me look. Cancelled fights. What the fuck? Alright, I don't know. For some reason, the UFC's Google website thing isn't even showing him as a fighter. Alright, I'll quit yapping, quit complaining. Sorry, it's been a minute. We'll get into the fights. Starting off strong, Vanessa Demopoulos versus Talia Alencar. I'm going Demopoulos by Dork. I don't fucking know. I honestly am gonna skip this fight. I'm not watching this shit, to be completely honest. But I'll go Demopoulos. She always gets a robbery decision, so I'll say Demopoulos by split decision. Next up, Martin Boudet versus Uran Satibaldiev. Shout out to this guy. I think he's an LFA champ for fucking stepping in on 2 days' notice to fight up a weight class against a guy who, check this out, is 5-1. Do you believe that? Martin Boudet is 5-1. UFC. I did not know that. He does not seem like a guy that should be 5-1, but the dude's he's winning. Kind of a blob, bit of a smudger, only lost to the GOAT, Shamil Gassiev, who he did get pretty cooked up by, to be honest. But yeah, bro, this guy just loves to smudge. He's he kind of reminds me of like a slug, and he fights kind of like a slug. Just up against the cage, putting his fat, sweaty body all over you, sliming you up, and just winning a decision, or maybe taking you down, getting this up. Uran, lengthy, kind of long guy. Name ends in a V, last name. And yeah, he did look kind of small. I do think he'll be majorly, outsized in this fight, but I think he looked pretty good from what I saw. A lot of good finishes, pretty brutal striking, decent grappling. Like, he looked like a pretty solid fighter, so I'm going to Uran. Lighter man skill, but Boudet's actually not bad. He's good at winning a decision. Next up, Pedro Falcao versus Victor Henry. Falcao lost to Victor Hugo, and I like Victor Hugo. I was rooting for him when he got to the UFC. I loved his Contender Series fight. I thought he was a very fun fighter. I think they cut him, which is sad. But yeah, Victor Henry's pretty well rounded, good volume striker on the feet, decent enough grappling. Kind of had some ups and downs in his career for sure. Kind of inconsistent, but I do think he's pretty good. He cooked up Barcelos as a big underdog back in the day, so I'll go Henry by decision. Next up, Loma Lukabumi versus Estela Nunez. I love Loma. She really is one of my favorite fighters in the, women's weight classes. Got that classic Muay Thai, but also not really. She kind of shied away from it, I think, in her last performance, as most MMA fighters kind of have to. Like, you can't really be marching around, lifting that lead leg up, throwing deeps and shit. In MMA, you gotta widen the base to defend those takedowns. Also, boxing is kind of OP with MMA gloves, so that being said, she's a great striker. Estela Nunez lost like 5 fights in a row, or 4 or 5, let's see. Okay, well, according to Google, she has 2 fights. Apparently, this is her second fight in the UFC, according to Google. Billion-dollar company. Yeah, she's lost 4 in a row. Gotta go to the UFC website to see that. Yeah, I'm going Loma. Fucking second round knockout. Pretty self-explanatory pick there. Next up, Reese McKee versus Daniel Frunze. I looked at one of Frunze's fights and he looked pretty good, to be honest. He looked pretty sharp, good striking. Kind of that like Alex Pereira type. Like kind of high, like he's not like Ilya where he's in his shell and wide stance, kind of low center of gravity. He's more of like a hop around, torso straight. Like he fights tall. But yeah, but his opponent out in the LFA, from what I saw in the first round, looked pretty good, to be honest. That being said, I think Reese McKee is majorly improved. I remember when he fought Hamzat and then like someone else, I remember thinking like, like, wow, this guy sucks. Like, this dude does not belong in the UFC whatsoever. And then he got cut and came back. Fucking something on my nose, sorry. But yeah, he came back after getting like 3 KOs in Cage Warriors, and he looked a lot better against Angelusa. And the Cheaty fight was kind of boring. That sucked, because I thought that was going to be a great scrap. It ended up being a fucking cage clinch fest. But yeah, majorly improved. When he came back, I was like, wow, this guy does not seem like the same fighter I remember him being. So I think this is like a big Frunze maybe as a slight favorite would make sense, but I'll go Reese because I do think he's underrated, and I'm hope he's made the improvements to beat a guy like Daniel Frunze. And he's only 29 still too. Great reach for the welterweight division also, so we'll go Reese by decision. Next up, Diana Belbita versus Dione Barbosa. I don't know why this is the featured prelim. A little confusing. Maybe, who knows though, maybe it'll be a good fight. I don't know. I don't know much about either of these women, to be honest. But Belbita got subbed by Molly McCann. So I'm gonna have to go with Dione Barbosa on this one. Next up, Doris Finney versus Robert Valentin. Now this is a good fight. It might be terrible in actuality, but I like the concept of this fight. I like the matchmaking here. You got Robert Valentin, who's this like Nordic fucking, he's kind of like Erie, like Nordic Chad. Bunch of Nordic cool tattoos in the mountains doing like mushrooms and getting lost and punching trees. And brutal clinch, which is something that, you know, cannot be said for most fighters in the UFC. These days, guys get in the clinch against the cage, and they literally just stall. It's like an accepted position where both fighters are like, okay, we're both gassed. This shit sucks. I don't want to actually have to fight, so let's just like stay up here and knee each other in the thigh and, you know, fucking swim in over-unders. Basically do that drill in jiu-jitsu where you just trade over-unders. But Valentin has nasty clinch work, great elbows. Oh wait, I'm totally thinking of a different fighter, but either way, he does have nasty elbows. Very creative striking. His chin is kind of exposed. He got rocked, like nearly finished on the Ultimate Fighter, but he came back and won that fight. Yeah, very dangerous, very unorthodox on the feet. That being said, on the ground, not the greatest. Kind of has a weakness in the grappling, and that's where Torres Vinny's gonna shine. He's pretty much just a grappler and like overhand right kind of spammer, built like a iron turtle. And yeah, I could see Torres totally just taking him down and controlling him, maybe getting the sub over 3 rounds. But I could also see Valentin just cracking him on the feet, catching him with like a flying knee or something crazy. But I think I'm gonna go Finney by decision. Actually, I don't know. I might go Finney round 2 sub, but I think we could see Finney gas and then Valentin put the beats on him in round 3 and finish him. Either way, I hope it's a fun fight. It could be kind of a boring one, but I like the matchmaking. This is one of the few fights that's actually pretty decent on this card. Or at least interesting. God damn. Bro, Tesla's down 10% today. What the fuck? I just got blinded. Damn. Oh my god, bro. S&P's at fucking 5,100. This shit was at 6,000 like a couple months ago when Trump got elected. That's crazy. Hey, if you have any excess income, if you got any money, throw that shit in the stock market, bro. Throw it in an ETF, S&P, the fuck, anything diversified. Just throw it in now, bro. Because it's been like way overinflated. The S&P did like 30% last year. Shit was cooked, and you know people are like saying it's a recession or whatever, and yeah, the tariffs are cooked, and it's probably gonna fuck up our economy. But dude, I think it's low-key just correcting itself. I think all these companies were extremely overinflated. Like Meta went from like $100 to 600 in like 2 years. They did not change their business to be that valuable, like 6 times as valuable in that span of time. Sorry, big side tangent. I just saw a little notification saying Tesla was down 10% today. So yeah, if you got any excess income, throw that shit into the market right now. Now's the time to buy. Don't sell. Don't sell. You don't need to sell. Buy, 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 buy. Okay, sorry. Moving on. Ode Osborne versus Louis Grundle. I watched one of Grundle's fights in the LFA. He had good grappling, short, stocky, strong guy, but otherwise, I don't know. Just looked kind of meh, kind of slow on the feet. And Ode's an interesting case. He really is good on the feet. Like, he's a talented striker. And he's got a great build for flyweight, but I think he has like terrible fight IQ, and he just kind of loses these fights. I don't know. He always looks good, in my opinion, on the feet, makes it competitive, and then just gets cooked out of nowhere. So it's really hard to pick him, but I do think he's underrated. Like, on the feet, he is pretty good, and I could see him outstriking Louis Grundle, but I could also see Grundle taking him down and kind of smashing him. So I'm gonna go Grundle. I do want to pick Ode, but it's just so hard, bro. Like, this guy really does find a way to lose in like all of his fights. He beat Charles Johnson. What the fuck? When did he beat Charles Johnson? That's crazy. What the fuck? Okay. Yeah, I could see him doing well, winning a decision on the feet, but I'll go Grundle, just because that fight IQ. Next up, Brad Tavares versus Gerald Meerschaert, the GOAT, GM3. This is a nightmare matchup for him. I like Brad Tavares. He's got great, he's got great tats, and he's also been in the UFC for a long ass time. But goddamn, is his takedown defense goated. I remember betting on him once because he was fighting a wrestler, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is like the easiest bet in the world. Bro ain't taking down Brad Tavares. That being said, Gerald's stand-up has low-key been cooking up lately. Like, bro sneakily improved that shit. I remember back in the day, he fought this like DC's son, basically, this fucking really good wrestler who was like 5'6" at middleweight. And I remember Gerald Meerschaert put the beats on him, but in that fight his striking looked terrible, and I was like, damn, if anyone else, Duran Win, that's his name, anyone else was in there, like, this guy's getting crunched, just like moving like molasses, like a fucking sloth. But recently, dude's been cooking up on the feet. Not gonna lie, he's got this like weird style where he uses a lot of head movement. Yeah, a lot of head movement, and kind of has chin up in the air, which is a little sus, but he makes it work, and he lands, and he fucking put out Bruno Silva. Yeah, dude, I fuck with Gerald. I think he's much improved. I think this will be a lot closer on the feet than people think, but I do have to go Brad Tavares because there's no way he's getting taken down. And on the feet, I think it's a slight edge. I think it'll be close on the feet, but I'll go Brad Tavares, 29-28 decision. Next up, Cortavious Alien Romulus versus Lee Chang-ho. Romulus, he was like a big favorite against the Spanish dude, Gaston Bolaños or something. And he kind of got cooked up, to be honest. That being said, he didn't look bad. Like, he looked like a capable fighter. Super strong, super athletic. And Lee Chang-ho, only one fight in the UFC. And that shit was weird. Like, they just both kind of clinched each other. They had like a mutual understanding to like, alright, I'm gonna get a collar tie and just like throw a couple punches and we're gonna stay in the clinch and chill out. It's very weird. I'll go Cortavious Romulus. I don't know. Lee Chang-ho didn't really show me anything spectacular from his performance, and Romulus is at the very least explosive and powerful, and I don't see him accepting like a clinch position with Lee Chang-ho. I think he's gonna kind of impose his will and put a pace, or at least try to knock him out and hurt him. So I'll go Cortavious Alien Romulus. Next up, we got Pat Sabatini versus Joe Anderson Burrito. Finally, a decent fight. But co-main? This is the co-main event of the evening? Is Pat Sabatini and fucking Joe Anderson Burrito? This shit would be on the early prelims of a good pay-per-view. Like, what the fuck? This is the co-main? I like Pat Sabatini. I've been watching him since like the COVID era. And Burrito too. Both of these guys are fucking awesome. But co-main? Are you kidding me? I don't know. I'm going Burrito. Pat Sabatini, he's got good grappling. He's really good at like almost but failing to get the back against the cage. You know, like where Colby Covington had Jorge Masvidal for like the entire fight, where they're kind of against the cage. One guy is on his knee, and then they've got one hook in, and they kind of wrap that leg, but then they can't get the other hook in because the cage is in the way. Pat Sabatini loves that position, and he low-key spammed that shit. But he was like a pioneer, you know? Back in the day, he would use that to just win decisions. Kind of like a cheat code, low-key. But yeah, Burrito's fun. I love Burrito. Super explosive, super athletic, good grappler. His fight with Jonathan Pierce was hilarious. He was getting cooked. Was he? Yeah, I think he was. And Pierce was like trash talking him, and then like 10 seconds later, Burrito like guillotined him, just fucked him up, subbed him. Yeah, I'm going Burrito. He's just way more athletic and strong and powerful. I definitely see him being able to ward off
Sabatini's grappling and on the feet, I don't think it'll be that close. So I'll go Joe Anderson Brito by second round knockout. That's what we'll say. Next up, main event of the evening. Josh Emmett and Lerone Murphy. This is a pretty good fight. I think it'll be fun. It's the one decently high level fight on this entire card. Yeah, I know Josh Emmett is an overhand right spammer, but he is a pretty technical overhand right spammer. He doesn't just rip it. He does try to set it up, use his jab, he's really not a bad fighter. But his stance is way too wide. His calf got cooked by Ilia Topuria, and I think Leon's going to do the same thing. If you're a guy that's really good defensively, just sound, well-rounded, and able to game plan and follow that game plan, I think you're beating Josh Emmett all day. But I think if you're a one-trick pony, or I don't know, just someone who engages in the firefight, I think Josh Emmett is a nightmare matchup. But for a guy like Lerone Murphy, who's just very good at edging out decisions and just doing enough on the feet and in the grappling to win, I've got Murphy winning by decision all day. I think he's just going to jab him up, rip the calf kick, a lot of low kicks, they grapple, play it safe, and win a pretty unanimous decision. Maybe gets rocked once or twice, but yeah, I'll go Murphy by decision on this one. But I like Josh Emmett. I'll be rooting for him. It'll be kind of cool if he gets another brutal knockout with that baseball pitch overhand right of his. Yeah, those are my predictions. I think it'll be an okay card. I think it'll be one of those where there are a few finishes, few decisions, few stinkers. Especially now that there's no David Grant and Daniel Santos, bro. Fuck. I love David Grant, bro. I used to kind of hate him because he was fighting all my favorite fighters, but now I love him, bro. He's so fun. So rip to that fight. But yeah, I've got Demopoulos, Uran, Henry, Loma, Reese, Barboza. Those prelims are god awful, dude. There isn't one, oh shit, okay, that's a good fight. Not one of those on the prelims. Crazy. Main card, I've got Finney, Grundle, Tavares, Romulus, Brito, and Leon. I might have low-key picked all the favorites, but I don't know. Those are my honest picks. Thanks for watching. I don't know what the fuck happened there. Sorry. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me fucking yap and complain. But come on. Let me know. Let me know what y'all think of this card in the comments. Are y'all excited? Or are y'all feeling like the UFC is just scrapping some shit